So people really watched this trailer and thought it looked just like what we got back in 2017.
Delusions!
What is up, guys? We are the Dudes of Cinema. I'm Cody.
And I'm Scott.
And today we're just going to be breaking down Zack Snyder's panel from DC Fandom, as well as going through the trailer and giving you guys our in-depth thoughts and theories on where we think this HBO Max series and movie is going to go, because the teaser was very cryptic, and so it kind of left a lot of room to discuss a lot of theories and give you guys our in-depth thoughts overall. We watched the trailer like a million times since it's dropped, and we really wanted to just analyze this trailer so that way we can bring you guys some solid discussion. So with that, let's get right into it.
The first thing that we want to go over from Zack's panel is the fact that he's going to be releasing it in a 4-hour miniseries. After the fact, he's actually going to be releasing it as a 4-hour movie.
And I honestly think that that's the best route to go with it. I mean, like 4 1-hour-long episodes. I'm pretty sure they're not going to drop them all at once like a lot of like Netflix shows like to do. So you're probably going to get like 1 episode a week for a month. And I think that's a really good way to do it. It's just, it keeps fans interested. It keeps them coming back for more for literally a month.
Adds to the suspense.
Exactly, yeah. And it leaves room for like more theories and discussion in between episodes, which is really cool. And honestly, it makes the most sense to release it as a film after the fact, because it's like, one, I mean, people want to watch it as a movie. I know I do. I mean, I'll love to watch it as both. I want to watch it how Zack wanted us to see it. And I think that that's what he's getting, the series and then the movie after the fact. And it's going to be really cool to watch it as a 4-hour-long Justice League epic. And I know he was also saying that he's working on a plan to distribute this internationally, so that way people, so that way that people that don't have HBO Max right now will still have an opportunity to see it. And obviously, they're going to be working on that. They're not going to release the movie to a limited audience. They want everybody to be able to see this thing. So I definitely think that that's the best route to go with, how to release this movie for sure.
I think that was part when he was making the movie. I think when he came to HBO Max, or they came to him, however it happened, they said like, hey, we want to make it as a 4-hour miniseries, maybe like, milk it, add the suspense, like get fans theorizing like each week in and out. But then I think he came back at them, was like, well, after that, I also want to get it made as a movie, because that's how I want it to be seen. I'm sure that's a lot of my fans want it to be seen. And I'm glad that HBO Max met him. Like it's cool.
I'm sure the series part of it was probably HBO Max's idea, just because they wanted, like you said, they wanted to milk it, get all the suspense, and really just try to utilize this release in the best way they possibly could. And I think that like just releasing it in episodes is cool, because like you said, it adds to the suspense. It really leaves fans guessing as to what's going to come next, because we know this is pretty much going to be a brand new movie. So I mean, so I really, really think that just to really utilize the experience overall, they did a really good job at coming to a compromise for sure. Okay, so another key detail from the panel that we want to discuss is what Zack is going to be doing with both Cyborg and the Flash, because we know that he has big plans for both of them in his cut. They weren't really given a lot to do in the theatrical version. I mean, none of them really did. None of them really had a lot to do. It was just very choppy in terms of how the characters were developed. Yeah, there were cool little moments, but overall it was very underwhelming, especially since a while back Zack had said that he wanted Cyborg to be the heart of his movie. And, a fan asked a question in regards to that, and Ray Fisher delivered the question to Zack, and he even said, of course, it's Cyborg. Like, that's the character I'm most excited to see get fully fleshed out, because he's the heart of the movie. He's what brings the team together. He's like the glue that holds the team together. And I just think that that's such a smart idea, and we actually get to see that in the trailer a little bit. We get to see glimpses of that, which we'll get into detail more about later. But I'm really excited to see Cyborg be the heart of the league, because I feel like he's going to be the one going through the most struggle. I mean, he pretty much almost died. He's going to have to watch both of his parents die, and then he becomes this freaking cyborg being with all these new abilities. I mean, he can do anything he wants, basically. And how does someone who was once just a human athlete, how do they deal with that? Like, how do they deal with a change like that? And so I'm really excited to see what he does.
Zack said he wants to flesh him out in his movie. He fleshes him out the most in the trailer, in my opinion, watching his dad die.
Yeah.
Like, pretty freaking crazy. So I'm really excited to see like how he goes from a star football athlete to losing his parents and then to becoming like Cyborg.
Yeah, that whole emotional arc for sure. That's how Zach described it. Was that it's going to be a very emotional arc for sure. And then even with the Flash, he said that we're going to get to see a lot more with the Flash. We're going to get to see him do a lot more. We're going to get to see more of his emotional arc as well. So it's really cool to see that Zach had emotional arcs planned out for both Cyborg and the Flash, because they really are awesome characters. And I personally really like Ezra in the role, and I feel that he was just kind of reduced to comedic relief in the theatrical cut.
The funny guy, and it's like the Flash is such like he's so much more than that. Like he has one of the darkest, like I wouldn't even say dark. He just has one of the most like grim, like not so good outlooks as a character. His mom died. His dad got framed for the murder. It's just like it's all bad.
Yeah, so you're right. That definitely affects his outlook on life and like how he sees it, and you know how he may see like the criminal justice system, and that's why he wants to become like a forensic scientist kind of thing, like he is in the comics. And I mean, even Zach talked about his abilities a lot more too, saying that we're going to get, I mean, he's a quantum character. He can kind of interact with space and time. And so we'll talk about that more when we go through the trailer as well, because he definitely showed some cool visuals with the Flash. So I'm really excited to see his development and his arc, and not really have him whenever he runs, he stumbles and falls, or he's just like a quit machine, because the Flash is definitely a lot more than that. And I know Zach had wanted the Flash to be like a comedic aspect of the movie, because like that whole rooftop scene, I mean, there are certain scenes that Zach shot where the Flash is funny. So it's like, I know he was going to have him be that comedic element, but not necessarily just like a quit machine. So I'm really excited to see both Cyborg and the Flash, see their emotional arcs, really see them come, you know, into their own as characters. I really think it's going to be cool, and it's going to like really catapult, you know, the Flash when we get his solo movie, and then hopefully it opens the door for like a Cyborg solo in the future. Maybe people will want to see a lot more of Cyborg, and I think that Ray Fisher deserves that for sure.
I think they both can be like really good characters in this movie. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I totally agree.
All right, Cody, before we jump into the trailer, when do you think this movie's coming out? Me personally, I'm thinking mid-March, like right around my birthday, March 17th.
Honestly, we're pretty much right on the same page here. I don't think it'll be that early. I think he might actually choose to release it like on the anniversary of Batman v Superman, so like March 25th. Okay. I could definitely see that happening, kind of like on the anniversary of Superman's death kind of thing. We'll see we'll get to experience the movie that starts his arc of resurrection and becoming Superman. So I definitely think we're on the same page here. I heard that there was like a date that it was going to be like September 2021, but yeah, I think HBO Max actually debunked that. So, and I don't think it was going to take that long for Zack to finish it and get it out, because he's working on this movie like full time. So I definitely think it's going to be around March sometime. I'm hoping it's on the anniversary of BVS, just because to me that'd be like the perfect time to release it. Yeah, that would definitely be the best time to release it. All right, guys, we're going to start breaking down this trailer and give you guys our theories as to where we think this whole experience is going to go. So let's do it. We'll start playing it. We'll start going through it and start breaking it down. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Perfect song choice.
I know.
Wow. What a way to open a trailer, right? Freaking the big man himself, Darkseid, dude. Oh, my goodness.
I only wanted a little. I only wanted a little, and then Zack's like, here you go, bud.
He's like, I know what you want, my dude. Here it is. This is actually a very interesting shot, and this is where I want to start, even though it's very early on in the trailer. It's literally the opening shot, but there is a lot going on here. So first of all, we get our first HD clean look at Darkseid. This is actually before he's Darkseid. He hasn't gotten the anti-life equation yet. That's why, because I've seen a lot of people say, oh, why is he using a weapon? Why does he need a spear? Well, that's because he's not technically Darkseid yet. He's still Uxas, he doesn't have his beams yet. Doesn't have the anti-life equation. He's still Uxas. He's Uxas, or however you want to say it. So this is kind of like baby Darkseid. This is Darkseid before he was fully realized. Like, even that's how Zack said it, was that he's pretty much a baby in this sequence. And where I think this is actually the ancient battle between like Darkseid, Ancient Man, the Atlanteans, the Amazonians. I believe we might see a Green Lantern here, like we did in the theatrical cut. I don't know if Zack intended to show a Green Lantern in this sequence or not, but I kind of hope so, because that was pretty cool. There is one big theory, though, that I have for this sequence, and it kind of actually goes back all the way to Man of Steel. So here we go. All right, so Man of Steel, when Clark first found the Kryptonian scout ship, he was kind of looking through the ship, and he saw an open pod. And it was kind of just like left out in the open, like it was never really brought up again. Well, I think that was obviously a Kryptonian that crashed into the Earth on that ship like 18, 20,000 years ago, whatever Man of Steel said it was. And so obviously that Kryptonian got out somehow, escaped the ship, and I'm thinking that maybe we could see that ancient Kryptonian fighting in this battle alongside the Atlanteans, the Amazonians, all the forces of man and everything. And this is why, because in a trailer that we got like way back in 2017 or something like that, I think it was the Comic-Con one, the trailer where he says no lanterns, no Kryptonian.
Oh yeah.
How would they know how strong Kryptonians can be if they hadn't experienced one yet? Because we know that Kryptonians are powered by a yellow star, like a sun, like our sun. That's what gives the Kryptonians their abilities. And so we know that Kryptonians launched to like 100,000 different planets and all that kind of stuff, but they might not have all had a yellow sun, so obviously their powers could have been different, or maybe they didn't get powers at all, depending on what kind of conditions they were in. We know on Earth a Kryptonian can be extremely powerful. So how would he know how deadly Kryptonians can be? Well, that's because there was one fighting in that ancient battle. That's my biggest theory.
Yeah, you friggin' presented that theory to me the other day, and I was like, wow. But then it all makes sense. It's like the open pod, Man of Steel, and then the ancient battle showing. I mean, why would Zack Snyder show off? He was showing off lanterns. He was showing off Amazonians in that sequence. Like, he was showing off everything. Like, if we see a Kryptonian like in that, like, oh my gosh, like I will like lose my mind.
Yeah, I'll definitely lose it, because then it'll definitely make a lot more sense. And before we move on from Darkseid, I also want to show you how it kind of has like his Omega symbol like embedded into his chest, kind of, which I think is a really cool touch.
Maybe he had to put it there, like it's like a branding, like a form of like I don't know any like background, like maybe he has to like burn himself or something. It's like a sign of like intimidation.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe he like branded himself or damaged himself as like a sign of intimidation, for sure. Maybe because like just that's his desire to get the anti-life equation, and like he's literally damaged himself to show how far he's willing to go to get it. I like that. That's really cool.
All right, yeah.
All right, so let's move on. Here we go. All right, so this is another little shot I want to talk about, because this is actually Superman's death from Batman v Superman. You can see like the green from the Kryptonian spear and the lightning that Doomsday would cause when he was like evolving. If you look closely, you can actually see Doomsday holding Superman in his hand. Here's my theory about this one. I think that this is like the moment that Darkseid kind of knew that Superman died. Like maybe like his scream echoed out through the stars somehow, and that's how Darkseid like knows that the Kryptonian's dead, because Lex wasn't at the battle, so he wouldn't know that Superman died. So maybe like somehow his scream like echoed out through the stars and got the attention of Darkseid, or maybe Darkseid was brought to the attention of Earth by the scout ship that Lex was in. So this is just, I think that this might actually be part of the opening sequence to the movie. We'll get to see this death from like another perspective, basically, kind of like how Batman v Superman did with the end of Man of Steel.
As soon as you see that scream, it echoes up in the stars. Maybe you see Darkseid opening his eyes or something.
Yeah, that would be cool, dude. That would be cool for sure. All right, moving on. Here we go. Now, this is a really interesting sequence right here, isn't it, Scott? Why don't you tell them why?
Dude, when I watched this, like I didn't catch everything, because it's just, it's panning into obviously the nightmare sequence that we saw a little bit in BVS. I didn't notice you see Aquaman's trident. If you look closely enough, you see Wonder Woman's broken shield.
Yeah, it's down here a bit.
You see a painting of Thomas Wayne, and then right at the end, so obviously it's kind of showing the nightmare sequence here and how the league, like they did not win. So it's like, I think that's showing like Aquaman's trident there, like he probably died or he got defeated. Wonder Woman's broken shield, she died or got defeated. Like, it's just showing like Darkseid friggin' won.
Yep, you see his ships everywhere, like a Joker cards come flying through the screen. So maybe they had to try to team up with some villains to try to take Darkseid down in this timeline, but they all failed. You can see parademons flying here. You can see the Omega symbol burned into the dirt, just like we saw in BVS. So I really think it's cool, and like obviously in BVS the color grading for that sequence was very like yellow and bright.
It was different than this. Right?
Yeah, because that was technically Bruce's vision of the future. You know what I mean? This is the actual thing, I think. So maybe we'll see more of this, and Barry will have to like travel back in time to try to like prevent this from happening, which is when we saw him in Batman v Superman in the armor reaching out to Bruce asking if he was too soon. So like this right here could open up a lot of possibilities for like the future. I mean, I know Zack had like a 5-film arc plan, so like if somehow this does really well and they decide to actually do that arc, maybe this will be like a setup for that, or maybe he'll just try to expand on it more with this 4-hour epic. I really don't know, because obviously, like I said, the color grading is different, so this is obviously the real thing. So are we actually going to see this timeline more? Is it actually going to come to fruition? I mean, there's so much that could be happening here, so we definitely love to hear your theories on this down in the comments because it's a very dense shot and it's very quick, so there's a lot to miss, but there's also a lot to theorize with this. So
I've already seen a lot of people theorize on this shot. Like,
yeah,
I'm sure our fans have a lot to say about it.
Yep, and we'd love to hear what you have to say. So let's go ahead and keep moving on here. So this is just a really quick thing. That's actually okay. So that actually does look like an arrow because at first it looked like the weapon that Darkseid was using in the ancient battle, and that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought it was at first. But you can actually see that it's still smoking a little bit. So I believe that this is when Hippolyta like shoots the arrow to get like Diana's attention, and it leads her to the whole mural inside of Darkseid.
Yeah. Yep. She's wearing the same exact thing in that teaser.
Yep, right. She's wearing the exact same outfit. So I think that this is the actual temple where that mural is inside, and it has like basically a whole painting of the whole ancient battle with Darkseid, with the mother boxes, and then it showed her looking at his mural and she just looked terrified. So obviously Darkseid is a real threat, and I love that. Like, we haven't even heard a line of dialogue from him. We haven't seen him do anything yet, but we know that he's scary. Yeah, we know he's scary. So I like that he included this shot because like it kind of ties back to his very first tease for his cut, and I think that was really cool. So let's keep going here. All right.
Ladies love that.
This is where I want to pause here next and talk a little bit about Cyborg, because like Scott, how we were talking about earlier, he's going to be the heart of this movie, and we're going to see a lot more from him. We've seen like glimpses of this scene in other trailers and stuff, but obviously he's at a football game, he's playing, he's like the star athlete, his mom's in the audience but his dad isn't, which I believe kind of harkens back to their relationship in the comics where his dad is more absorbed in his work than he is his own son.
He's totally like absorbed in his work.
Yeah, and I actually think that this game will be right before him and his mom get into the accident. Yeah. Okay. So like I think that they're gonna win, but like he's gonna see that his mom is there supporting him but his dad isn't, so they're gonna be driving home and they're gonna be like arguing. Yeah, so they're going to be like driving home. You get to see like his mom being proud of him and really happy for him, which is that kind of where you said like bittersweet. So we go from a good moment to them arguing in the car, and then something happens, they get into an accident, and that's when Victor becomes Cyborg. And so it's going to be crazy because I really think we're going to see Cyborg's going to have to watch both of his parents die. And that's going to be really, really sad. There's more that we're going to see of this later on in the trailer, so we'll get to that. But I just wanted to say I think this is pretty much going to be the start of his entire emotional arc in this movie. So.
Yep, I agree.
So this is actually a whole sequence that was cut out of the theatrical cut. We get to see Barry saving Iris. Iris's whole, I don't know if you get to see their relationship develop in this movie or not, or if this is just kind of the introduction to them. But it's really cool that we're going to get to see this play out because I remember seeing where he poked through the glass in one of the trailers, and that was really cool. So
she wasn't in Justice League at all, right?
No,
at all.
She was not in this movie at all.
And this sequence looks like it's like cool. It shows off like Flash's like ability. Like I don't see why it was. I don't know, man. Like Warner Brothers, like.
Yeah, I don't know why they cut this at all. And I actually read one comment that said the reason why he doesn't have any shoes on in this is because he ran so fast that like obviously if he was just wearing a regular pair of shoes, they would just freaking disintegrate and they would just disappear.
Like right there in that moment, like his shoes did.
Yeah, maybe they just burned off or something like that because he was moving so fast. I don't know, because like why would he be barefoot? Like, you know what I mean?
That is totally 100% true.
Yeah, so.
All right, now in this sequence, it's actually really interesting because, I mean, you actually were the first one to theorize to me is that you think this is Martian Manhunter visiting Lois, and it's kind of like I've seen like funny comments in there, like it's Martha Manhunter. Like,
yeah. The reason why I think this is it is because a while back Zack released a storyboard that he drew of this conversation, and when Lois leaves the room, she morphs into Martian Manhunter and then morphs back into General Swanwick, basically.
Oh my lord.
Basically setting up that Swanwick this entire time has been Martian Manhunter, which would actually make sense because in Man of Steel, like when they took him in to be interrogated and he like broke the handcuffs and walked up to the window, everybody except Swanwick backed up. Swanwick was the only one that stayed right where he was. Like he's the only one that's never been afraid of Clark at all. So it's kind of like, and when the alien showed up, he didn't have any kind of look of shock on his face or anything like that. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. Like, you know what I mean? So I definitely think it makes sense, and I hope that Zack got what's the actor's name? Harry Lennox. I hope they got Henry Lennox.
Henry Lennox.
It's Henry or Harry Lennox. I'm not sure, but I definitely hope that they got, or that Zack was able to get him to come back for a quick pickup shot so they could finish this sequence, because I really think that fans would love to see that and just to see what Zack had in mind for Martian Manhunter. So I think that would be really cool to see.
I agree, because Martian Manhunter is such a cool ass character, man.
He really is, and it would just like I said, it would give so much more like replay value to Man of Steel because you go back and you see that like and Batman v Superman because now you know that he was Martian Manhunter this entire time, which would be really cool. So, all right, we'll keep going here. Let's go. Oh, that's it. That's Desaad. So this is actually this is Desaad, and I actually knew nothing about this character until like I knew Zack was going to be putting him in his cut. I still don't know too much about him. I love his look for sure. He looks really cool. I think he's just kind of like a servant to Darkseid, kind of like a messenger for Darkseid. So him and Steppenwolf will probably be, communicating information and relaying it to Darkseid. And if you look closely in the corner over here, you can see like one of those huge fire pillars in the background, like how we saw in the Nightmare sequence from the Apocalyptic technology. So I don't know if this is actually on Apocalypse or if like this is part of the whole Nightmare sequence that we're going to see, and like we're actually going to see Desaad in it and like them kind of like showing that they've like taken over Earth. I really don't know, but I just noticed that fire pillar, which either places him on Earth or on Apocalypse, which is like Darkseid's home planet. So it'll be really cool to see what role Desaad plays in the movie, and I'm happy that Zack's snuck a shot of him in this trailer.
Yeah, first time I heard about Desaad was actually in this trailer. Like, I had no idea who this guy was. He looks like a cool hooded guy. Like, he looks really scary and intimidating. So like,
yeah, we don't know too much about him. We just know that he's going to have some kind of presence in this movie. So it'll be cool to see what part he plays in that. All right, here we go. Let's keep going. Okay, so here's like the emotional stuff with Cyborg. You see him crying. There's Superman's resurrection, and Lois sees him. Okay, so I want to stop here. Hold on, I want to go back a little bit. Okay, right here. I want to stop right here. So I never noticed this at first, but if you look closely, that's actually Silas's hand, and he's the one pressing the button on the remote to like shoot the beam at the mother box, which then causes him to die, which we actually see in this trailer. And
why is he doing that to himself?
Exactly. So why do you think he's doing that to himself? Why do you think he's sacrificing himself? Why do you think he would do that?
Well, like, Cyborg's obviously in the next scene, like, he's in the same room, and if you look really closely behind him, it's Steppenwolf. You can barely see it, like, you actually pointed it out. So maybe, like, Cyborg, like, you watch right here. Cyborg gets shredded.
There we go. See, right there. You can see Steppenwolf right there.
Yeah, and then there's Cyborg. He's distraught because either you pointed out, maybe this is either before or after a fight sequence is going to happen, and, like, Steppenwolf has, like, Cyborg at his mercy, and, like, Steppenwolf is probably telling like Silas, like, you either do this or I'm gonna destroy everything anyway. Like, in a sense, I think Silas is kind of like saving Cyborg. Like,
yeah, he's trying to.
In a sense,
I think you're on the right track here, dude, for sure. That's kind of what I was thinking, is that like this is gonna take place before like a fight scene in Star Labs. And Steppenwolf is behind Cyborg, so maybe he kind of like boom tube into Star Labs, and to prevent Steppenwolf from getting the mother box, Silas tries to destroy it. And like with that technology, but obviously it doesn't work because Silas ends up dying. But I mean, I think that Steppenwolf is going to get all three mother boxes here anyway. So this is going to be like right before a fight scene. So Cyborg's going to watch his dad die, and he's probably just going to like unload on Steppenwolf. There's going to be a huge battle here, which is going to be really cool to see. And so I'm definitely excited to see how this plays out, because I definitely think that Steppenwolf is they're going to basically complete the Unity, which I don't know if you remember that from the theatrical cut when they get all three mother boxes. The Unity. And there's a shot with Flash later on that I'll point out why I think that they're going to get all three mother boxes. And so Silas is obviously going to die here. He's going to fail to keep Steppenwolf from getting the mother box, which like Cyborg probably going to make him wonder like, what was the point of that? Like, what's going on here? Like, like, why me, basically? Like, I was made from this freaking alien technology. Now both my parents have died. Like, what do I, like, where's my place? Like, where's my place in this world anymore, honestly? So, and that's where I feel like his aspect of being the glue to the Justice League is going to come in. Like, they're going to make him feel wanted and needed, and that he does matter and that he is important. And so it's really cool that we're seeing these glimpses of his arc in this movie, because I'm definitely excited to see that.
I agree.
All right, let's keep going. So there he is. He dies. Here's where Steppenwolf. Ooh, look at that armor, dude. You can see the spikes retract or like pop out. Yeah. All right, so this obviously. Look at that shockwave. So obviously this is the end battle, and Zack kind of like, we know how Steppenwolf is gonna die. Like, Aquaman's gonna like spear him with his trident, throw him in the air. Superman is gonna punch Steppenwolf over to Wonder Woman, who's gonna decapitate him, and then his head's gonna roll through the boom tube to Darkseid's foot, and then Darkseid is gonna crush it.
Oh my!
So yeah, like I'm really excited to see that. He's in his black suit. I can't wait to see Superman in his black suit fighting Steppenwolf, this spiky fucker, as Zack likes to call him. But yeah, like I'm really excited to see this, and it's really cool that they threw a glimpse of that shot in this trailer. So, and like that shockwave is just epic, man, just blinding the screen. All right, here we go. Parademon. Okay, right there. That's what I want to. This is where I want to stop. Right here.
You think that's right as the Unity is kind of happening?
Yeah,
exploding kinda?
Yeah, I think that the Unity is going to cause some kind of explosion that maybe like decimates the planet or something like that. And Barry's just kind of like coming to a stop and realizing like, whoa, what is this? And how it has like this strange ripple that just is going by him and everything like that. So yeah, I definitely think that this is part of that whole Unity happening, and it's going to cause some kind of massive explosion, which is going to decimate the Earth and cause the nightmare sequence basically. And so Flash is going to have to run back in time. This is just him trying to realize what's happening. He's just kind of like, what is this? Like, why do I feel weird? Like, what is this? Yeah. So I definitely think this has to do with the Unity itself, but because you can kind of see it rippling out. You see like how it's just rippling, and it's kind of like, but I don't know, because this kind of also looks like that shot later on in the trailer of Barry running what we believe is the Speed Force.
This is either him entering the Speed Force, because then like it does in that one sequence after this, it looks like he's like running on what kind of looks like this. Maybe I do think your theory is kind of like spot on, because he's like looking around like, is this either the first time he's gone in the Speed Force, or is he looking around like clueless because like I don't know what's happening to me, what is going on right now? Like,
exactly, yeah, like he's just kind of confused. Like I think you're right. I think it's like he just entered the Speed Force maybe as the Unity explosion was happening, and he's just kind of like, okay, what the heck? So like he's trying to figure. Yeah, he's just kind of like trying to figure it out, and then he'll probably like look around him and he'll have clues to know that, okay, I'm in the Speed Force, or I'm harnessing my ability in a way I've never done before. So it's going to be really interesting to see it. This is definitely a really interesting shot. So I'm really excited to see more of the Flash and what Zack had planned for him and his abilities and what he can really do. So let's keep going here. Okay, here we go. This shot right here.
Here it is, yeah.
So like it's kind of like the ground is forming, like he's in like this kind of like, I don't know, you've seen Stranger Things obviously, kind of like the upside down. It's like a dark place. So I don't know if this is kind of like this movie's version of the Speed Force. Because like I know people mention that if you watch it over and over again, it kind of looks like the ground is forming as he's running.
I know, exactly. It's almost like he's making, like I don't even know. It's almost like he's making his own reality.
Yeah, it's like literally he's traveling through time and like forming a new timeline as he moves, kind of thing. And so maybe we're seeing Barry try to go back in time to try to prevent the Unity from happening. Like maybe they'll change something up so that way they can get a mother box away from Darkseid and Steppenwolf or you know, whoever it is. And they can prevent that Unity explosion from happening, thus the nightmare sequence never happens.
Yeah, or I have another theory. Maybe it's like you said Cyborg was going to kind of get his own flight sequence, kind of how Man of Steel did, and maybe Zack Snyder will give the Flash like his own like first moment of like, oh, this is the Speed Force, like, whoa, I'm doing, like, what is this? Like, holy crap.
No, that's a good theory. Maybe he'll have like Flash out there like testing out testing out his abilities and kind of like seeing how fast he can go, and maybe he goes so fast that he enters the Speed Force and like discovers that, and so maybe he utilizes that later on to stop the Unity explosion from happening. That's a really good theory, dude. I never even thought of that. That's good. Yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot happening with both Cyborg and the Flash in this movie. And I know that also Superman's resurrection is actually going to happen differently. I know in the theatrical cut somehow the mother box, somehow that brought him back. I know Zack mentioned that the Codex is going to come back into play because remember Jor-El put the Codex into Cal's body. So I think that is somehow going to play a role in bringing Superman back to life. I don't know how yet, because obviously they're going to be in the Kryptonian ship, so maybe there's some kind of technology the ship has that can resurrect Superman using the Codex. So that's definitely going to be really interesting to see too. And I know that whole fight sequence, we saw a glimpse of it earlier, of Cyborg stopping the tank. That fight between Superman and the Justice League, I think it's actually going to be a much larger scale than what we saw in the theatrical cut. Because why is a tank there? Like they have tanks. So obviously the military's there. So you're going to have like the cops there. You're going to have the military there. So obviously there's going to be a lot more to that battle than what we saw in the theatrical cut. And we're going to see Superman a lot more unhinged than he was as well. And it's going to be cool to see Lois be the one to bring him kind of back to Earth, kind of like
down to Earth.
Literally down to Earth, and kind of like make him remember himself. That also kind of brings me to the biggest thing, and you and I have talked about this, Scott, is how Zack originally intended to end the movie way back, like before they even started shooting, and so I don't know if he's going to do that now of having Darkseid boom tube into the Batcave and kill Lois. So it'll give a lot more emotional weight to that scene of Lois kind of bringing Clark down to earth during that battle with the League to just have him lose her at the end. So there are so many different ways this movie can go, man. I'm really not too sure. Like, I don't think Zack's gonna just wrap it up with a nice bow on top, a nice pretty bow, and it's gonna be a nice happy ending. Like, no, I don't think that's how it's gonna end. I think we're gonna get cliffhanger, man. He's just gonna throw us a curveball. Yeah, we're gonna get like Smaug, dude. We're gonna get Smauged with that, dude. Oh, for sure. So this is definitely an interesting shot, one of the most interesting shots in the trailer. And we're almost done here, so let's go ahead. We'll keep going here. And this is different. That's different than the theatrical cut. They used this shot, but that was when you just saw like.
I just saw it side by side today.
It's much different. Like, there's not all that flowery shit, and you have Bruce's flying fox picking them up. So maybe Martian Manhunter will be in here. Maybe Deathstroke will be in here, because remember Joe Manganiello. I don't know how you say his last name. He played Deathstroke. Maybe he'll be on that ship, because Ben Affleck shared like a screen test of him, and it kind of looked like he was in the flying fox, like way back when they were shooting Justice League. So maybe they'll have somebody greeting them here. I'm not too sure, but something tells me this isn't necessarily the end of the movie. I don't know. I could be wrong.
This is probably like after maybe one of the main fights, and then they're gonna go back to the Batcave.
Yeah, exactly. Like, maybe it's after the ending battle, but like I said, a cliffhanger is still to come, kind of thing. So they think they've won. You see the sun's rising, so maybe they think that they've won, but something happens. I don't know, but I really like it. I love that we're going to see Superman in his black suit. Like, it's perfect, man. I know that Warner Brothers, Zack was saying that Warner Brothers didn't want to kind of throw him more money to make a black suit, or they didn't really want to give him a budget to do that, because they thought it was like gritty or dark or so. I don't really know why they would think that. But because
he's just doing it all in post, right?
Yeah, so what they did was they designed his regular blue suit for Justice League, but they designed it in a way, like the lighting and everything, so that they could go back in post and just change the colors a bit. And so we're going to see him in his black suit, and we actually saw that deleted scene from the theatrical cut where he walks past the black suit but then takes his blue one, which doesn't really make sense because it's going to have like a huge gaping hole in it. And I know that Zack also mentioned that he wanted Superman to go on like kind of like a journey to get back to his blue and red and gold suit, his traditional suit. So he's going to he wanted Superman to take a journey to get back there. And obviously we both know the black suit has a basis in the comics. That's what he wears when he comes back. So I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's go ahead and finish it out here.
Guys probably fought hundreds of thousands of other super beings on the other planets he's destroyed, right? And
this is a sequence I want to talk about too.
How many demons he's fought and how many hells.
I don't know how this moment was in the movie.
I know.
Not us united.
So that's a really great way to end the trailer, and I think just from us seeing Barry talk, you can tell that his character is going to be handled a lot differently in this movie than it was in the theatrical cut. Because like in the theatrical cut, he was always like wide-eyed and just like, "Whoa, this is so cool! Whoa, you're Batman! Whoa, this is awesome!"
Like, and it's like right there, he knows what we're going up against. Like,
exactly.
Are you guys sure you want to do this shit? Like,
exactly. So he's going to be a lot smarter. He's not just going to be a quip machine, like I was saying earlier. Like, he's going to be the brains of the team along with Bruce and Victor. Like, they're all very smart people, all three of them. So I think that we're going to see more of like that side of Barry Allen, and that's really exciting to see too. And I actually think that's two different sequences cut together, just because like in the shot of the Flash talking, you can actually see Wonder Woman in her costume.
No, I agree.
But then it cuts to a different shot. Yeah, so I definitely think that's two shots cut together, and then I believe Batman giving that line, he's never fought us, not us united, is right before they go do the final battle. I'm not too sure. Yeah, or maybe that'll be like before the tunnel battle, and then they're going to lose and realize that they need Superman, because the tunnel, the battle in the tunnel in the theatrical cut.
I think that'll be right before like they go to a battle and they kind of get their ass kicked, maybe.
Yep. Yeah, that's why I was saying the tunnel battle, like the one where Flash runs around and like gives Wonder Woman her sword back. Like, and they're going to get their butts kicked and realize they need Clark, like they need Superman, and like that's how they're going to start, talking about how they're going to bring him back, which kind of harkens back to that shot of Bruce looking at the hologram of Superman. Maybe they were like studying his schematics to see how they're going to bring him back to life. And I don't think everybody in the league's going to be down with that. Like, maybe like Diana will be like, I don't think we should do this. Like, is this ethical, like to bring someone back from the dead? Like, how do we know this is what he would want kind of thing, you know? And Bruce is probably going to say, like, we don't have any options. Like, we need him. I think that they're definitely going to butt heads a lot there. And that's going to be really interesting to see, like, their dynamic, like, when they clash, but then also to see them work together and actually become the Justice League. I think that's going to be really cool to see. Like, I think the League is going to have their own arc in this movie in that sense. Like, they're going to start off as, like, a bunch of loners. They're going to come together, learn how to work together. It's not going to be easy. They're going to butt heads a lot. But then by the end, we're going to see them as, like, the Justice League. And I think that's really exciting.
They're going to be fully become the Justice League, like, fully know how to work together. Mm-hmm. They're going to know their roles. I get that there's a lot of alphas on the team. Like, a lot of them want to be the leader. Like, mm-hmm. I mean, some of them just flat out don't. Some of them do. So it's just like, it's going to be cool to see, like, their dynamics, like, fully get realized in this movie. This isn't it. Like, we're getting the Snyder cut. Like, he wants to do more with these movies. Like, he wants to leave characters in, like, certain spots, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think maybe if, like I said, if this does really well, they may, like, fund Zack to be able to complete his 5-film arc so we can see more of that. But you brought up a good point with the whole, like, alpha thing. Like, how are they going to do, like, that power balance? Like, how is the League going to learn their roles and, like, realize to work together? And maybe, like, there is no alpha. Like, they're just a team. They're all a team.
Drop
like,
your freaking ego.
Yeah, exactly.
Get the job done.
Exactly. Like, drop your ego. There's no leader here. Like, we all work together. We each have something to contribute to this team. Yep. So let's just do that. We don't need a leader. We just need a team. And they're going to learn how to be a team. So I think that was really good. I agree with you 100%.
All right, guys, that was our thoughts, theories, breakdown of the Snyder Cut trailer from DC Fandom. Drop all your thoughts below. I want to hear everything. Both of us do.
Yep, we want to know what you guys think and what you guys have to say about this trailer.
Don't forget to throw us a like, subscribe for some more awesome content. And with that, I'm Scott.
And I'm Cody.
And we are the Dudes of Cinema.